Welcome along, everybody. It's Premier League predictions round 10 with Mikey. And my God, it's getting tight in the competition between me and Mr. Penty Smith because it was a 6-3 win for me. Okay, it's a bit like winning via an own goal in the last minute. Neither of us covered ourselves in glory. I got Chelsea 2, Newcastle 1, Bob on, which now means Mikey, you're up by 1 in the weekly competition. You're up 5-4. But listen to this. In the aggregate, 66-65. Welcome.
Yeah, incredible, isn't it? I think that last international break came at the wrong time for me, Ben. That's the cliche that I'll roll out for myself, like I do for some teams when I'm doing these Premier League predictions. But yeah, congratulations, Ben. A pretty convincing win. Going for Newcastle to win at Chelsea was pretty.
I did raise my eyebrows, didn't I?
Yeah, I just sometimes weird things happen, but alas, Chelsea, decent home win for them.
You got to go rogue sometimes, but hey, if you want to go rogue, you can play along in the comments. Make sure you copy and paste all the predictions. We'll stick them down there in the description. You know the deal. Give yourself 1 point for a correct outcome, 3 points for a correct score, and go rogue like Mikey. Play for some bonus points. We haven't had one for weeks, Mikey. You get 4 points if your prediction has 5 or more goals. Let's start us off, Mikey, in traditional fashion with you're up first. Newcastle versus Arsenal.
Yeah, absolute cracker of an opening game of the weekend, but not a fixture that either of these sides would have wanted, is it? Newcastle now winless in their last 5. They haven't gone 6 games without a win in a couple of years. I think they've only done that once under Eddie Howe. Is it the curse of the England link? I remember when Harry Redknapp was his stock was really high at Tottenham and England came looking. I think it might have been when Capello left, and then Tottenham's form just completely fell apart, even though he didn't even interview for the job apparently. And I worry for Newcastle that the same thing's happening here with Eddie Howe. But I don't know why, because obviously he was always going to stick around at Newcastle this time. Arsenal a bit depleted to say the least, but
centre backs now, Mikey. Yeah,
but at least Saka was fit and seems to still be fit. So they gave it a really good go against Liverpool, and on another day could have won that game. A couple of youngsters came on as well. I guess somebody who we haven't really heard of needs to really step up in the next few weeks for Arsenal. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult for them. However, I am going for the Arsenal win, probably because I was a bit silly going for Newcastle to win at Chelsea. But Arsenal are just in slightly better form than Newcastle at the moment. So I'm going to go for the 2-1 away win here.
Yeah, that's a scribble for me because you would think Newcastle are going to score, being Arsenal are so depleted at the back, but I still make Arsenal favourites. You've taken the 2-1. I'll take the 3-1 then, Mikey. If that comes in, don't give me any credit because I wanted the 2-1, but you'd already taken it. So there you go. It is Bournemouth versus Manchester City. I don't know what to make, Mikey, of Man City beating Southampton 1-0. They scored early, won the game. You just wonder with these elite clubs when they play the promoted teams at home, it doesn't matter. It's just win, just get it ticked off, get it done. I wonder if there is a bit of that. We've both been quite high on Bournemouth, Mikey, but I can't have them getting anything on against Manchester City, who are now top and clear, aren't they? Let's go. I normally back Bournemouth to score. I'm not going to. Bournemouth 0, Man City 2.
Okay. I swear when we were in the green room, Ben, you said you were going to do something interesting with Bournemouth, but here we are.
I'm a liar.
Yeah. I do feel that Manchester City are massively overdue a shock result, and I can't quite bring myself to go for a Bournemouth win here. So I'm going to go in the middle. I'm going to go for Bournemouth 1, Manchester City 1. Bournemouth have been tough opposition for everyone this season. Even the result at Liverpool, I think they lost 3-0 at Liverpool. It might have been 3-1, but they gave them a really tough game. City have coped well with their injury crisis. Mateus Nunes has stepped up and Phil Foden's starting to look himself again. But yeah, I think this is a difficult game for Man City, and I could see Bournemouth getting a point.
Interesting. And yeah, the mind games do begin in the green room before we start recording. Mikey, Ipswich, let's not dwell on Ipswich, but Ipswich versus Leicester. I get banned from saying must win in the most must win game in history. Away you go.
Yeah, quite a surreal weekend for me, Ben. I spent my Saturday with a viewer of ours, Max, who sorted me out with a ticket at Brentford, where I saw us come out second best in a crazy 4-3 game, and then the following day I was learning about breastfeeding at an NCT class. But that's neither here nor there, is it? Maybe Muric, bit of a boob from him in that game. Is there a link there somewhere? I'm not sure. But Ipswich definitely have some firepower in up front, don't they, Ben? And George Hurst came back in. Liam Delap was left on the bench, which raised a few eyebrows, but it works because Hurst scored and assisted from the start, and Delap came off the bench and was just absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, how does that translate into this game? It's going to be really difficult for Ipswich because of the sheer number of players that are out injured. But I do expect a reaction from that disappointment. Leicester really dropped off in the second half against Nottingham Forest on Friday night as well. Looked nervy at the back against a powerful striker, and Ipswich have two of those. So fingers crossed, Ipswich get this one done. I've prattled on for too long here, haven't I? Ipswich 2, Leicester 1.
I don't even want to give any logic to my prediction. I just want Ipswich to win. I think they can do it. I think Leicester had gone the back-to-back wins, hadn't they? Really poor performance against Forest in what Sky Sports described many times as an East Midlands derby. How about that? So I will take...
It's a derby. Nobody said it's the derby, did they? They didn't say it was the Midlands
what
derby.
Anyone says on the internet.
Derby.
don't let the truth get in the way of a good trolley comment, hey? I'm going to go 1-0 Ipswich. And I'm going to say absolutely no more and move on to Liverpool versus Brighton. This feels like both teams to score and a home win and a lot of goals. So I'm going to try and eke a bonus point out of this, Mikey. And I'm going to... Shall I call one of your 4-1s? No. Let's go even more rogue. 4-2. Liverpool 4, Brighton 2. And I think maybe Brighton will lead at some point during the game as well. 4-2.
Yeah, could definitely see that happening. If you could go to a game as a neutral this weekend, Ben, it'd possibly be that one, wouldn't it? Liverpool probably happy with a point at Arsenal. Show that they've definitely got the stomach for the fight this season, as well as loads of ridiculous quality in attack. Interesting to see how Brighton recovered from that capitulation against Wolves, but Evan Ferguson back on the score sheet. I was supposed to give the score prediction at the start of this, wasn't I? I'm going for Liverpool 3, Brighton 1.
Blue Monday is proudly brought to you in partnership with our friends at Atwell Solicitors, your ideal legal partner for work on property or business law. Their client care has repeatedly been recognised as outstanding, and they are people-focused with a plain English approach which sets them apart. They have offices in Ipswich, Colchester and London, and to find out more, head to atwells.com.
Well, you can give the score prediction at the end of this one because it's Nottingham Forest. Sorry, where are Forest now? Because they went 5th. Where are they in the league? We've got to give them.
They're in the Midlands, Ben, but not particularly close to Leicester.
Oh, you got to stop this. Forest are 7th. They have still gone up a place. So amazing work from Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, incredible results for both of these teams over the weekend, weren't they? No Gibbs White, no problem for Nottingham Forest. Just get the ball to Chris Wood and let him do the rest. Incredible stuff. He's in awesome form, isn't he? West Ham hung in there against Manchester United brilliantly and managed to nick the win at the end with a penalty. Somerville looks like he's announced himself now as a West Ham player. So I think that West Ham are going to gradually improve, but I just can't look past Forest. And their 2 home games since they got promoted against West Ham, there was a 1-0 win and a 2-0 win. So the other common victory that they haven't had yet is 2-1. And that's what I'm going with.
Oh, I've been super, super high on Forest. So I might go for the draw on this one. So they keep on the good run and no defeat, but I might just play down the middle and go for the 1-1, given West Ham are going to be full of confidence after beating Manchester United. Oh, God. We hyped it up that the bottom six are all going to be playing each other. And thanks to West Ham winning, they are. And the second all bottom six game is Southampton versus Everton, which really just stinks of, I don't know, 83% possession for Southampton and like a 3-0 win for Everton or something along those lines. I won't go so hard on Southampton, who need some credit for taking Man City, into stoppage time and, could have got themselves a point there, couldn't they? But I'm sorry, Russ. Southampton 0, Everton 2.
Okay, yeah, I can't look past an Everton win either, probably because I saw Everton hold Ipswich at arm's length a couple of weeks ago. I'm going for 2-1 to Everton. Tip the cap to Southampton for the way they played at City. But yeah, can't see past Everton. By the way, Ben, did you see Sean Dyche played Michael Keane up front for the last few minutes against Fulham?
I didn't, but
and they got a goal.
I'm not surprised after that larruping goal, that awesome finish at Portman Road. Mikey, we actually owe a public apology to Crystal Palace, who we both predicted would lose to Spurs. And very annoyingly, with my Ipswich Town supporter hat on, they beat Spurs today. And now it's Wolves v Crystal Palace. And I assume you're going to make Palace favourites after that result.
Yeah, I think Palace will fancy their chances. They'll hope that they've turned the tide off with that win against Spurs, and by all accounts, it looked like they fully deserved it as well. They created lots of good chances to take the game beyond Spurs at the end, but held out for the 1-0 win, and a clean sheet is big for them as well. Wolves, though, came back really strong at Brighton, didn't they? And nicked something. And those moments that it just feels like your season can turn on moments like that. So I'm going to back Wolves to get another draw here. I'm going 1-1.
Okay, I'll take Palace then to get themselves out of this detritus at the bottom of teams without wins. We saw Leicester go back-to-back wins. The Wolves fans already think I'm against them, so I'll double, triple, quintuple, whatever down and back against Wolves yet again. I'm sorry, Wolves fans. Great club. Let's go Wolves 0, Palace 1. Let's go for the same deal there. This game should be really good. You're talking about Liverpool, Brighton for the neutrals, but Spurs, Villa could be really, really good. I just think the way Spurs are at the moment, I'm going to go for the away win for Villa. I think they'll just be too savvy, too streetwise. Don't think there's Champions League. I think it's EFL Cup this midweek. So Villa should be rested, ready to go. I'll go both teams to score and I'll take the 2-1. Spurs 1, Villa 2.
Yeah, and obviously the Carabao Cup is quite important to Spurs this year, as Ange Postecoglou.
Well, they've got Man City,
promised.
Right?
Yeah, so they're not going to be as well rested. But I had a feeling you were going to go for Villa, so I'm going for Spurs. I'm just going for a 2-1 win. It's like the Newcastle-Chelsea one. I'm not really sure why I'm doing it, but I am. So yeah, I'm going for Spurs to win 2-1.
Man United, Chelsea.
Yeah, another blow for Erik ten Hag at West Ham, wasn't it? Unlucky with that penalty at the end, and that's what he'll focus on, at least in front of the media. But this just happens too much for Manchester United. One step forward, another step back, over and over. Chelsea, can't believe, watching back, I can't believe that. I've said it a few times already. I can't believe I went against them. Cole Palmer, just absolutely outrageous at the moment. That pass.
You're a wizard, Cole.
For that Jackson goal was just something, wasn't it? And then even when he doesn't strike the ball perfectly, he still finds the back of the net like he did for the winning goal. I'm backing him to have an impact in this game as well. I'm going Manchester United 1, Chelsea 2.
I'm going to stick the boot in and go Man United 0, Chelsea 3. I think this could be one of those. Feels like we've seen loads of these type of games where, I don't know, you see Gary Neville on the TV, looking like he's seen a ghost afterwards, ranting on about how terrible this is. Feels like that's been played out many, many, many times. For those of us that grew up in the 90s watching football, that was Liverpool then, where all the pundits were ex-Liverpool players and they were kind of coming down off a really great kind of era of winning. But yeah, with Palmer, and you mentioned Jackson a few weeks ago, Mikey. You were kind of ahead of the curve on that. He really looks like he's, turned around from the hapless guy who missed all the chances to, being a decent Premier League striker now. And yeah, it's just quite good fun, Chelsea. And I actually quite like them. So Man United 0, Chelsea 3, which rounds us out to a West London derby. Is this Monday Night Football, Mikey? Fulham Brentford?
It might well be. I should probably know that, shouldn't I?
No. It's all good. Well, I think it.
Whatever it is, Ben, it's a derby. It's not. It's
a derby which I've been to, before. In fact, was it last season? I went to. I can't remember. I can barely even remember what the score was. I think it was like 3-2 to Brentford. So we had fireworks in that, and Brentford, unfortunately, we both know, love goal-heavy home games, and I'm referring to the game against Wolves they had where they won 5-3 rather than the 4-3. So do you know what? 3-2 might actually not be a bad shout. And I've only played for one bonus point today, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. Although I went to this game at the G-Tech, didn't I? And this is at Craven Cottage. No, I've convinced myself anyway. Let's go. Oh, go on then. We'll go for the home side. There's no logic in that whatsoever. Fulham 3, Brentford 2. I don't know how I've got there, but I've got there.
Yeah. And what have I gone for? Fulham 3, Brentford 2. So how do I rethink this one?
Flip it.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to flip it, Ben. I'm going to go for Fulham 4, Brentford 3. Just so they can get a taste of their own medicine there.
Oh, dear.
Fulham was so good at times against Everton as well, Ben. Just couldn't hold out. And Brentford just so much firepower, especially when they've gotten Bournemouth and Visser on the pitch, and they're leaking goals. So, yeah, I'm going with a ridiculous 4-3.
Unbelievable scenes. And viewers, if I were to tell you, it's quite late at night here, and Mikey and I have both been very busy. So this is the only slot we could find to film the predictions, which may explain the somewhat kamikaze rogue nature of some of this week's scorelines, and indeed explanations for the scorelines. Make yours a bit more sensible in the comments. Copy and paste from the description all of those fixtures. Get your predictions and give yourself a point for the correct outcome. Give yourself 3 points for a correct scoreline. And if you've got Fulham 4, Brentford 3, give yourself a bonus point for any predictions over 5 goals. Mikey, I would love you to give a plug for your wonderful interview with maybe a future England left back. Tell us more.
Yeah, I met Leif Davis the other day, working for Premier League Productions, and did a couple of interviews with him for the international broadcasters, and was also given an interview to do for Sky Sports, which was just pretty irreverent questions. And but I think it really shows his sort of warm and upbeat nature. He's quite an individual, Leif Davis, a really interesting guy and really friendly fella. And yeah, hopefully an England international of the future.
And where can we find that, Mikey, on YouTube?
Sky Sports Premier League YouTube channel.